Today I will be discussing the issues surrounding the position of school librarian. Many people remember their school librarian fondly, though the position is slowly disappearing and not many people know about it. For example, did you know that in the past 25 years there has been a 20% decrease in school librarians? This has vacated over 10,000 different positions and left roughly 40% of American grade schools without a school librarian. Many people today discuss the relevancy of school librarians, especially in a more modern school system. But school librarians have adapted more than many people realize that they have. Like many positions, school librarians have adapted to meet the needs of a digitally based society. One past school librarian, Karen Smith, discusses in her blog how the position has been rebranded into something called a media specialist. A school media specialist has several duties, including teaching students about digital literacy and how to be a considerate digital citizen. This is a newer idea, since about 50 years ago this would not need to be taught, especially considering how there was less technology at that time. Many school media specialists have also contributed to a movement in many schools where they create makerspaces. These are spaces that have several different types of technology in them, including 3D printers, problem-solving technology, sound studios, coding applications, and even green screens. These different types of technology can teach students how to survive in this more digital world. One innovative example of these makerspaces was created by Lissa Blake. Blake is a school media specialist at an elementary school. She created an activity for her 6-year-old students that involved pizza boxes, green paint, green straws, and some paper and popsicle sticks. Blake had her students paint pizza boxes green and then make little paper cutouts that they drew on. They would glue these paper cutouts to the popsicle sticks, effectively making puppets. They would then act out plays in front of the green pizza box and record it with a tablet. Blake then went back and taught them how to use green screen technology that would create this into their very own story. This is an amazing example of using innovative technology to teach our current students. The next question we must ask ourselves is how? What caused these school librarians to start disappearing? There are several factors responsible for this disappearance, and a team of researchers, including Keith Lance and Deborah Catchell, created an investigation around this phenomenon. This investigation group is called the School Librarian Investigation, Decline or Evolution, SLIDE Project for short. One of their many studies is titled Voices of Decision Makers: How District and School Leaders Decide About School Librarian Employment. This study had 3 main parts. To conduct the study, the group interviewed 49 different school leaders. 28 of these leaders added librarians to their schools, 26 reduced librarians, and 5 did both. Each of these subjects was interviewed extensively on how they felt about school librarians and why they made their respective decisions. Then, they narrowed down the reduction of librarians to 3 main factors. Structural factors, meaning that the school had no other choice because of something like money. Pragmatic factors, meaning that this was the logical solution to a different problem within the school, meaning that the money could have possibly been needed to be used elsewhere. And strategic factors, factors that led to give or take solutions. They also found that there were main reasons that had to do with the addition of school librarians, including the introduction of librarian teaching time, the opportunity for more teacher planning time, and newly available funding. The introduction of librarian teacher time can include librarians teaching things like digital literacy to students. The opportunity for more teacher planning time can give teachers the opportunity to have more time to themselves to create new lesson plans. And finally, some schools use the newly available funding to insert new school librarians into their schools. But the biggest factor that seemed to affect both decisions was a change in the school's administration, leading the team to believe that these changes were often caused by opinion rather than fact. But what needs to be done about this problem? My solution has 3 parts. Firstly, library-related topics need to be implemented into administration-based training. All schools need to be required to have a school librarian. and we need to redefine the terms of state and federal literacy funding. In this next section, I will describe the steps that need to be taken to implement the solution. Please recall that the first step is educating administrators. In order to be able to do this, we need to understand the training that takes place in order to become a school administrator. This training involves a master's degree in either educational leadership or administration, as well as a professional educator's license. The only classroom portion of this training is involved in the master's degree, since the only requirements for the license involve proving that this degree was earned. This is especially important because, as mentioned in the slide project study, Voices of Decision Makers, many administrators commented that they received no formal training on the importance of school librarians. This plan involves appealing to different college boards to adopt this principle into their courses, and therefore providing administrators with important knowledge concerning school librarians. Several colleges already have similar programs for situations like this, including North Carolina State University. NC State's course redesign grant involves an individual applying to work with an NC State administrator on changing the way a course is taught. Many other universities have similar programs, and this is a great opportunity for the situation. The second step of the solution is to advocate for a federal school librarian mandate. Lance and Cashel created a report as part of the slide project that detailed which states required school librarians. According to this study, only 26 states have a regulation saying that every school must have a school librarian, and only 11 of those 26 actually enforce this rule. Having a federal mandate will encourage school districts to prioritize having a school librarian on staff at every school. This will create consistency for students as well as opportunities that school librarians provide. The third and final step to this plan is to modify the terms of state and federally based funding. One of the biggest funding resources for many schools is called Title I funding. According to the quote below, the purpose of Title I funds is to help schools establish entity-wide programs that help disadvantaged students improve their academic achievements. Included in this long list of things that this funding can be used for are school librarian salaries. Individual school districts have the choice as to what this money can be used for. Therefore, many don't actually use any of the money towards school libraries or school librarians. The terms of this funding should be modified to require school librarian-based portions of this money to be spent. There will be many necessary changes to implement this solution. First of all, beliefs must be changed. When educating administrators, you are changing their beliefs about school librarians. Hopefully, this initiative will trickle down to teachers and students and help them participate more in school librarian-related activities. There also have to be changes in relation to money. There are many different avenues for literacy funding, whether it is through a state-based program or a federal one, though most of it doesn't actually go towards school libraries. One example of this is the Ohio Science of Reading budget. Ohio has now budgeted millions of dollars towards literacy coaches, new curriculum and instructional materials, and professional development. Though these are all good things, none of them are specifically library related, meaning that individual school districts can choose to exclude the library and librarians from these budgets. The last change that needs to be made are legal changes. Legal change is also necessary for this proposed solution. Once the legal proposal is drafted and ready to be sent to Congress, it should specifically be sent to government officials who are already active in similarly based legislature. For example, the senator and representative who drafted the Right to Read Act, an act with similar ideals, would provide the best opportunity for this law to be passed. But what can you do to help with this problem? First of all, make it known to your local school administrators that your community values their school librarian. The more community involvement a school has, the more likely it'll provide the funding for what the people want. Secondly, offer to volunteer with your school library. School librarians are often extremely busy, and they can use all the help that they can get. Next, find out what you can donate, both monetarily and physically, to make your school librarian's life easier. There are several recorded examples of school librarians using their own money to pay for student activities. Helping your school librarian like this will give them more opportunities to help all of their students and reach each student individually. Lastly, make this issue known to your community. In conclusion, the American people should advocate for administration education regarding library science, a federal mandate requiring all schools to have a school media specialist, and a redefinition of literacy funding. These solutions will provide American children with capable individuals who can make K-12 schools a better place to learn and develop. As said by Mark Ray, teacher librarians are the Swiss Army knives of educators. They can reach all students and have the resources to do so.